I was 14 years old when I had my first real experience of pornography. I thought I shouldn't be doing this. But sometimes that's what that kind of plays into the excitement, and it builds the excitement. Like, oh, this is wrong, this is naughty, but I'm kind of enjoying it at the same time. And I was taking any opportunity that I could, rushing home from school at the end of the day to make sure I was the first one home, making sure that I was up late after other people. At that point, we had one family computer. There were no smartphones, no tablets, and so we had a PC in a study. It had a glass door, but we hung coats on the back of the door, so it was kind of like the potential for accountability whilst also providing up the utmost privacy. It's kind of the irony of that. My waking thoughts were dominated by it, replaying images that I'd seen or thinking ahead to the next opportunity that I would have to get in front of the computer. And I would sort of keep images where I could access them at other points in the day as well, and try and hide those. Because that was just what I thought about. When's the next time I can look at this? I have no doubt that it was an addiction because of the way it affected my daily life. I wasn't functioning the same as I used to do. I started taking more risks as well, so it was no longer just when I was on my own in the house. My brother caught me. He's about just over a year older than me. I just raged at him for invading my privacy, and I had no right to speak to him the way that I did. And actually, I'm not that sort of person either. I've never been given to fits of rage. I don't shout. My character had changed in some way as a result of, I felt cornered in that moment, and I was frightened that my brother was gonna go and tell my parents what I'd been doing. It's such a stark change in my character. It's one of the unexpected effects of looking at porn. The 3 years that I spent really struggling with this in my life, I could have done with having shared it with somebody. So when I talk to people about this, I'm so strong about accountability with people. Finding somebody that you trust, that you can talk to, who's not going to judge you, who's not going to have a go at you about it, but who will help you to make a change in your life, who will ask you the difficult questions. And at the same time as all of this was going on, I was still going to church every week, still belonging to a Christian family, still believing the stuff that I'd been taught growing up about who God is. So I went through this cycle over a period of a couple of years of going to church, feeling really guilty, and saying to God on that Sunday, right, that's it, I'm stopping now. And I would go home and I would delete a bunch of stuff, or everything that I had, but it wouldn't be long before I went back to it. And I just couldn't seem to break out of that cycle of guilt, deleting, returning, and then guilt again, and it just kept going round and round and round. And as the years went by, I just became more and more desperate, more and more aware of the fact that I couldn't break that cycle on my own. I was 17 years old, and it'd been probably about 3 years that I'd been struggling with my issues with porn. And we went to a youth camp called Soul Survivor. People would give talks about God. I'm sure it was good, like the stuff that he was saying, there was some truth in there. But he shouted out over the crowd, there's something on you. God can see it, and I can see it. Like, there were about 10,000 young people there. He wouldn't have just picked out me. But I was really scared in that moment because I knew that there was something on me. And he asked for people to respond by standing if they wanted somebody to pray for them for any addictions that they had, or eating disorders, or things of that nature. And I said, God, I can't do this on my own. I need you to do something. Jesus in that moment completely set me free from the addiction that I'd experienced. And not only that, but in those 12 years since, he's been showing me that there's a better way of living. I wrote a book which is called A Better Kind of Intimacy, and the aim of the book really is to help people to discover what I discovered through my experience, that my ultimate value is in him, that I'm loved by him, I'm his child, and that he made me on purpose, and I don't need to be looking anywhere else for that value because it's made perfect in Jesus.